Hey there, so in today's video I'll be reviewing the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth episode of the new DuckTales series. So yesterday you should have saw my review for the first episode, Woohoo. So if you have not seen that, I recommend that you go check that out and such. And if you have not seen any of these episodes, please be sure to skip over that specific part. I'll be putting the time indexes in the description down below for each episode. So now let's move on to the first episode. Second episode, Daytrip of Doom. So, kind of a brief summary in this episode. Here we do in Uri and Webby go to a kind of a fun park that is designed specifically for kids. So, and then that's also where we get the first introduction of the Beagle boys and Mom Beagle in this new series. So overall, the series is pretty good. We got to see them outwit the Beagle boys, which we do see later again in the series, but it was nice to see that again. Also can see Webby adjust a lot to kind of life in regular society. From a psychological and sociological standpoint, Webby, you can say, is especially in this episode, is a case of an improperly socialized young girl. You can really see that a lot. And so I think we're going to see kind of like her character arc in the series as a whole is going to be her adjusting to living her life with the involvement of other people in society as a whole, not just her grandmother. So that's going to be kind of something good to see, and kind of, a lot of people I think have been, when they say her characterization is different and better, they've been, and even me in my last review yesterday, which I'm recording it right before I just recording this one. But anyhow, lots of people have been saying that her new characterization is the adventurous, the go for it, this kind of personality, with only a hint of her original personality. But I see a lot of I'm seeing something, because I took psychology and sociology in my last year of high school, and I'll be taking some college level courses in them as well. I see how Webby's also having this another part of her characterization. Sure, people have thought, oh, she's getting used to society, but that's not really it. It's showing a greater sociological and psychological awareness on the part of the writers. Sure, in the way communicating to kids that if they know people who are awkward and all that, and may not, and maybe also shy, it may not be fully because they want to be alone. There could be other things involved, things such as isolation and not really knowing anyone growing up. Now, Webby's at a young age, so, well, the series will not go on that long, but by the time her character, I would say, would be an adult, she should be well socialized. But just kind of an interesting thing, though. But now let's move on to the next episode, episode 3, the Great Dime Chase. So in this episode, we're introduced to Scrooge's #1 dime. We're also introduced to the inventor that I forget his name, and I'm looking at a picture of him right now. But he has this helper that looks like a light bulb, and I think their new personality for him, and I can't believe I can't remember his name, is actually, in my opinion, quite nice. Before, he was kind of this kind inventor who maybe a bit bumbling, but now he's this really, think like Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory, extremely intelligent, and views himself and his adventures as superior to all others. So that kind of thing, a much more arrogant personality to go with an even larger increase of intelligence. In a way, his new personality is the intelligent but arrogant. Now, that's something you don't want. Granted, hopefully his personality improves towards a kind intelligence, instead of an arrogant intelligence. So while I compared him a little bit to Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory, Sheldon got better, as you can see. In fact, he was how they describe him before, when they do flashbacks and talk about him before the first episode. He seemed more arrogant then and got better overall. I hope they do something his personalization. Is that right? Characterization. I hope they do the same thing with that character whose name I still can't remember. Just kind of like showing him growing as a person, still training the intellect, becoming less and less arrogant. I'm not sure they're going to do that, but that would be a good character arc, especially if they feature this character a lot, but I'm not quite sure. But Scrooge's #1 dime, that's probably the bigger part of the episode so much, and like how he keeps his dime in the glass display case in his money bin. Then Louis uses it to round off the necessary money he needs to get a soda. Finds out that it's Scrooge's #1 dime and rushes to find it with the help of that inventor whose name I can't remember. Invention who goes evil because he had the wrong size light bulb. Crazy, but kind of interesting. And then he gets the dime back. No clue if it's even the right dime. We don't know as the audience. But I guess it is. And then he finds out that Scrooge keeps his #1 dime on he put it in a small little holder that's tied to a chain that he keeps on him at all times. It's just so fun how Louis went through all that work when he didn't have to. But then Scrooge gave him every dime anyhow, and you know what he did with it? Went to get another soda. Crazy, but it's actually quite interesting because it does show a lot about Louis' personality and his kind of laid back attitude and kind of like the easy way and kind of want to spend money, kind of that stuff. But now let us go on to the next portion of next episode, which is entitled "The Beagle Birthday Massacre." And just so you know, nobody actually dies in this episode, but I think they did a name to kind of play on the Valentine's Day massacre, which involved Al Capone. Here, I think that's why they named it the Beagle Birthday Massacre, to kind of play on that. And so, I think that's quite interesting. So we get to see the entire Beagle Boys clan, you can call them, Beagle clan, and like all of them. Like, it's kind of interesting how many they have and how they divide them into groups of 3 with each a different theme. You have, the ones modern rock stars, you got the ones modern French, you got the ones who don't get anything done, and then I thought this was neat. 5th Avenue meanies and 5th Avenue friendlies. I wonder how well they get along, or was it 6th Avenue? Whatever, because they occupy the same street, apparently. And then, of course, the classics, which are, well, the classics. The first one, the ones who were introduced in Daytrip of Doom, and you can say the main ones from the original DuckTales series. But yeah, I also gotten introduced with a character called Lena, who we're obviously going to see more and more. We saw her in the next episode after this one. I'm not sure when we're going to see her character again, but I'm guessing we're going to see it sometime. But it was revealed that she's the niece of Magica Despard at the very end of the episode, which puts out some interesting conflict there for future. Like, will she and her aunt and maybe her own plan come to fruition, or will she have a change of heart by the end? And that might be the case. That's something people can theorize on, but who knows how it'll actually be for sure, but it's quite interesting as a whole. And then another interesting thing I found this episode is how, and when Webby introduced Lena to Huey, and Louie, they all was, and they all said, well, each individual unique snowflake, something along like that, and then like at the same time, and then like this never happened. Then they say something totally weird, like you wouldn't, that's not common, and they still say at the same time, and they go something along that line, of course. But it was quite funny and kind of a nice callback to the original series. Not too overt, a bit overt, but at the same time it is like hilarious and crazy and actually pretty good when you think about it, because they are supposed to be twins, though there is an official birth order now. Kind of nice to know, and that doesn't apparently influence their personality as a whole. But it is kind of fun to see them interact in such a way. Okay, that's really it I want to say about that episode. So let's move on to the next episode, which is Terror of the Terra-firmians. This episode again was the second appearance of the character Lena, so we got to see a little more about her, and Magica dispel her aunt spoke for the first time. But this episode I think raises the questions: will she eventually have a change of heart and not help her aunt with whatever their plan is? That this episode does raise that question, but it's also kind of a callback to underground civilizations and previous media involving the characters, the Duck World, as I'm calling all the worlds that feature ducks as a primary character. No, with Donald Duck and that kind of stuff. Because I don't remember if there's anything in the original DuckTales series, but in the spin-off Darkwing Duck, there was an underground civilization of mole people, I think. But yeah, I do think this episode does kind of reference that kind of stuff that you sometimes see in these in shows. But I think that might be a small reference to Darkwing Duck, but there could be a few others as well. But not too much else I want to say about that. So actually, I'm going to move on to the next episode, which is going to be the last episode I'm featuring in this review, which is The House of the Lucky Gander. So we get to, in this episode, we're introduced for the first time to Donald's cousin, Gander Goose. I presume is it Gander Goose? And I think he's a goose. Last name I'm referring to. I can't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. But introduce John's cousin Gander, who is extremely lucky, versus Donald Duck's extreme unluckiness, which in a way kind of reminds me of Matter Murphy's Law, another Disney XD television series, where the main character has essentially what can go wrong will go wrong. Though, kind of how they play Donald, especially in this episode, being solely unlucky, kind of reminded me of that. No, I don't know if that's where we're going, but remind me loosely because in Matter Murphy's Law, Matter is not necessarily unlucky. It may appear as unlucky, being unlucky, but it's more unpredictable, and things do always work out in the end, so that makes me kind of question some things. The Matter Murphy's Law addressed that by saying unpredictable with Murphy's Law. And here they contrast luck and unluck as well, but in a much more overt way. And I find it quite interesting because like they show Donald Duck as totally unlucky, yet at the end he is lucky, but also Gander at the same time, whose unluck was lucky. See how confusing that was? They ain't got that confusing, but kind of nice. Confusing when you compare like who was lucky and who was unlucky, or were they all just lucky in the long run as a whole? See how that goes? It can get very crazy to understand. So, but it was interesting. We got to see that Scrooge McDuck has a disdain of casinos as they are not a as they are an easy way to make money and not a square way of making money. So I wonder what he would say about a square shaped chance wheel. Though it wouldn't be a very equal chance, and that's for sure. But yeah, so kind of interesting video and all episode and all that. But so I'm going to end my review here. So if you enjoyed it, please leave a like and comment down below to let me know what did you think of this episode. And as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. Have a good one.